Let's roll. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between along for the ride from Costa Rica to California, Montreal to Minnesota. The countdown is on. NFL Wildcard. We'll take a look at all the games. We'll check out the line movement, injury updates, and everything else in between. Countdown is on. National Championship football game. And it was just announced a couple hours ago that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, will be attending the national championship game. It's so big, even Trump is going to be there. As Alabama, numbers coming down a little bit right now. It's 4.5 down to 4 points. We talked about it when Alabama was kicking the crap out of Clemson the other night. The injuries were adding up as the game went on, actually, for Bama. And you could see Nick Saban sort of wincing every time. It's like, oh, God, I just lost alignment. Oh, just lost an offensive tackle. So injuries are a problem right now for the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll have time to break that game down. Well, actually, not too. No, I guess we really won't, actually. Man, time goes by so motherfucking fast. We judge time by seasons. Think about it. Like, how long ago does it feel to you that the NFL season started? When it was week 1? Does it feel like it, as long as it does in the calendar type of deal? It's blowing my mind, man. The Buffalo Bills haven't been in the playoffs since 1999/2000. And it doesn't feel that long ago to me. Like, when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, holy shit. It's nearly like 20 years of my motherfucking life gone by. It doesn't feel like 20 years has gone by, but time goes by fast. And here we are midweek already right now. And in 48 hours from now, we'll be kicking it in Vancouver, live in Vancouver. And I know the Rageaholics are gearing up for this right now. A lot of people in Vancouver fired up for the show. Kyle Hamburg, of course, coming all the way from Atlanta. Chris Edge, San Diego. Mick Aussie, Babano. It's going to be a full house. It's going to be a full house at the Red Card, Smythe Street, downtown Vancouver. We'll be arriving tomorrow night in Vancouver. Big Man on Campus will step up and in tomorrow night and hang out with you for a couple hours. But I was just in Montreal for like 5 days, 4 days, whatever it was. 4 days, 4 nights, 5 days, whatever the hell it was. From Thursday to Monday. So Thursday to Monday. And it doesn't feel... I didn't realize it was Wednesday today. I can't lie. I kept thinking, I feel like it was Tuesday. Like, last night it hit me where I was like, oh, fuck, thank God I don't have to worry about tomorrow. Then I realized, I'm like, oh, shit, I fucking do. Anytime I take a trip, man, it's a big pain in the ass for me, man. I got to tape a bunch of shows. I generally don't miss shows. We're going to miss tomorrow night's show here because we're going to literally be on a plane at that time. There's not much we can do. Although they should have fucking Wi-Fi on these fucking planes. I should be able to do the show on the plane. Imagine in a couple of years we'll be able to do that. So tomorrow, though, I've got to tape stuff because I got to tape all this Friday stuff that airs on TV. And I host a lot of things. I'm on a lot of shows. Fuck, I don't really realize it until I got to tape all these things. So I'm not fucking around tonight. We're ending the show at midnight tonight. But Bano's going to join us in about 10 minutes' time. I can't fuck around. I go in the late night hours on a nightly basis. I always say I won't end early, but tonight I have to because I got to pull up a Bano. I got to leave tomorrow afternoon, man. I'm not fucking packed at all. I'm not packed at all. I haven't thought about this fucking trip at all. I didn't even know what time my fucking plane was at until last night. And I got to tape fucking a bunch of shows tomorrow. I wanted to get T-shirts made for the show Friday night. We're going to try to get that done in Vancouver, but Vancouver's a fucking laid-back city, man. I spoke to a guy on the phone there. I'm like, can you bang off 25 or 50 of them in an afternoon? He's like, oh, I can do 10 or 15. 10 or 15? Fuck, man. Maybe tomorrow in Toronto I can fucking try, but I just don't have fucking time. I really need a Darren, like Kramer on Seinfeld. I really do. Tomorrow, that's what I would do. I'd be like, dude, I need you to go to this T-shirt place. I don't care what it costs. Just get it done. Just get it done. All right, the Raptors are getting it done right now. I never bet against the Raptors. I did tonight. Chicago Bulls are hot, but the Raptors are just too good for them. Raptors are rolling right now, 118-106. So I know we have a lot of degenerate gamblers here amongst us. And we've got a couple of games on tap this evening. Now, for the record, I already pulled the trigger. I grabbed the Wyoming Cowboys. Took the Wyoming Cowboys plus the 12 points. It was 13, but it's come down. And we're going to be like a real sports show here for a second. We've got some audio here for you of the head coach of the Nevada Wolfpack, Coach Musselman.
As far as Wyoming, what challenges do they present for the Thunder game?
Yeah, Wyoming can really shoot the three ball. They play fast. They play at a really fast pace. Obviously, Dalton's a guy you got to be concerned with because of his ability to score and to do what he did against San Diego State. And Adams is good getting to the basket, and James is good isolation, one-on-one getting to the basket. And Kelly's done a good job running the show and knocking down three balls. And Herndon at 6'10" can really make shots from the perimeter and post up as well. So I think that's about their roster.
All right, so Musselman talking about dealing with this kid, Hayden Dalton. It's all about Dalton this week, guys, from Andy Dalton to Hayden Dalton. They're calling this Hayden Dalton guy baby Porzingis. (6'8", hitting 42% from behind the line. Leads the team in rebounding, 8 rebounds a game, 2-point assist a game. He dropped 36 fucking points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists against San Diego State. Yeah, pretty much he's the team for Wyoming. Wyoming, they've won 10 games. In the 10 games that that they won, he averaged 19.3 points per game, and he shot 57%. In the 4 games that Wyoming lost, he scored 13 points, and he shot 32%. It's pretty crazy. Like, this guy pretty much is the Wyoming Cowboys, but he's fucking awesome. Now, this is where, I did a little homework on this game. And I'm telling you what, guys, this guy that covers the Nevada Wolfpack, Chris Murray, his name, Reno Gazette. We're going to get him on the show. I follow this guy. He's like the Nevada Wolfpack beat writer. And, it's good. If you're going to bet on these games, you can check out the gaming websites and stuff. But if you're really putting money on the game, it's worth your time. Now, I actually enjoy it. I'm a news-type junkie guy. So, like in the old days, it used to be harder to get information in the old days. So, I used to know, every fucking newspaper, right? I could tell you, West Virginia's newspaper. Oh, yeah, the fucking Redneck Ledger, fuck. I could tell you whatever local paper for any college team and stuff because you get good information. Like the standard sports sites, and even the AP game previews and shit, they'll be like, oh, this guy is, was hurt and questionable, whatever. But if you really, dig down deep and get into the local guys, you can find out a lot of stuff. Like, I don't see anyone really talking about this, but it turns out 3/4 of Nevada's starting lineup, including their best bench guy, are all dealing with a severe illness. I don't think anybody knows this. Like, the numbers come down 1 point. Like the interview here with Musselman, but, Musselman's talking about this. They asked him, what about this guy? What about that guy? He's like, no. He's like, no. He's like, yeah, maybe that guy, maybe he'll play. Like Wyoming, Nevada are fucking sick. And 2 of the guys are so sick, they don't want them around other guys. Yet the number really hasn't moved at all. I don't think anyone realizes this. And the thing is, Wyoming aren't a bad team. You know what's interesting about this game? It's actually a battle of the last two CBI champions. kind of weird. I think the number's a little bit high here. Now, listen, I'm not calling out an outright upset win for the Wyoming Cowboys. They're not the greatest road team, but Nevada's struggled a little bit on the boards. New Mexico are the worst rebounding team in the conference, and they out-rebounded Nevada the other night. Nevada's having a hard time with rebounds recently. Wyoming's not a very good rebounding team either. I think the over's worth a look, too. 155 and a half. Nevada get to the free throw a lot. I'm busting out some real numbers right now, but Nevada get to the free throw a lot, and Wyoming evidently commit the second most fouls in the conference. So you have a combination here of Wyoming puts you on the line, and Nevada have players that get to the line often. But the thing is, Nevada are all sick. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be on the floor tonight. Right, but they are sick. This isn't just a rumor. This is from the Reno Gazette and, straight from the coach. 3 of the 5 starters and their 6th man, all dealing with illnesses. But as far as the over is concerned, so we're talking about this Wyoming. They foul everybody all the time. Get this: Wyoming shoot 25.6 fucking 3-point shots per game. That's a lot of threes, man. Like for a college team, that's a lot of threes. Like they're bombing 25 threes a fucking game. So this is pretty simple here. I mean, Wyoming shots either go in or they don't. Wyoming don't rebound, and they don't really shoot free throws. They're pretty much a 3-point shooting team. Wyoming are always the same. They always have a bunch of big, tall white guys that shoot threes. That's what they do. Normally, they're a better rebounding team than this. Now, as I stated, Wyoming, normally I wouldn't be, I was already tempted by this. When I saw Wyoming plus the points, I was like, that's a lot of points. But Nevada are better. But then I realized that they're all sick, and I just think the number's too high, man. It was 13. It's come down to 12. I think we can get there as far as the total is concerned as well. So I'm on the underdog, Wyoming Cowboys. I'm on the underdog Wyoming Cowboys, and I took the over 155. The UNLV game, I don't have a strong opinion on. Listen, UNLV are going to win. UNLV generally don't cover on the road. Are they going to win by 14 points? Is that the bet you want to make, that you got to worry that UNLV is not going to fucking take the pedal off the metal late and you get backdoored? We've got an NBA game tonight, which means we're going to get fucking ambushed by Laker fuckfaces. Ugh. God, I hate Laker night. The only good thing about Laker night is it's just an automatic bet against, and we make money. So, yeah, we're taking the Oklahoma City Thunder. I bought half a point. I made it 5 points, and I took the over. What's the deal with the Lakers? What, they lost 10 of their last 11? Yeah, exactly, Ace Farmer. Wyoming comes in hot right now. They're feeling good. Yeah, Wyoming and the over, Ace Farmer. That's my opinion. As far as Oklahoma City and the Lakers is concerned, I don't know. Maybe some of you guys know, but no. I like somebody called him Bonzo Ball. That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, fuck the Sharps. I was getting emotional here. Boston Celtic players are hugging Isaiah Thomas. I mean, everybody's groping Isaiah Thomas there. Yeah, I probably don't bet. Fuck. Bye-bye, Blees, D's. Rotten hell. We better set the tone early here, evidently, since it's fucking Laker night tonight. Fuck, I hate Laker nights. I should get like fucking more for Laker night. You got some breathing problems with Babano here, evidently. Babano has like the least slick, like most guys like can sit there and it's just, you know, the second Babano gets in, it's either like the video starts coming on and off, he's making noise. And right now, I don't know, Babano, you sound like you're breathing like Darth Vader or something like that. You all right, Babano?
Of course I'm all right, buddy. It's a new year. It's 2018. I'm feeling good. We're ready for Vancouver this weekend.
You just had the mic on mute. How come you didn't have the mic on mute before?
Because it doesn't start the Hangout on mute. That's why I've got to jump on that right away. And sometimes you don't. And that was the case. So you hear me with the old Darth Vader sound going.
It's almost like it's like a weekly thing. How is Babano going to interrupt the segment?
There's nothing to interrupt. It's a bunch of dopes thinking the Lakers game is going to be streamed apparently tonight. Oh, it is Lakers night. The chat ain't acting right. Oh, this is Lakers night. A shitty night. Oh, shitty night.
Babano's feeling it this evening. It's Laker night. Well, you know what? It's Laker night, but it's going to be Oklahoma City Thunder night. Russell Westbrook always goes off against the Lakers. He's from LA. He played at UCLA. He goes off. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat can attest to this, but I don't think Kuzma's in either tonight. So Bonzo Ball gone. Lonzo Ball not there. I don't believe Kuzma's there. Lopez is still out. These guys are a fucking train wreck. They've lost 10 of their last 11 basketball games. Luke Walton's not the one. It's funny. Luke Walton's talking about accountability. He's like, you know, we believe in accountability. We're holding everyone accountable. It's like, no, you're not. Like that's why you got the problem that you do. I mean, you know you got a problem, Walton, when fucking LeVar Ball thinks you're too soft. So, LeVar's not the guy to turn this around. And I don't think Oklahoma City are going to take the pedal off the metal tonight. You know, they need to get wins. They're trying to get on track. I think it's a short price tonight, Babano. It's 5.5. You know, I bought a half a point because I refuse to lose another bet by half a point ever again. But I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are the play this evening. And I just spent the first 15 minutes telling people about how Nevada are all sick tonight. Three-fifths of their starting lineup have an illness. Their sixth man is sick. I'm not even sure who's going to be on the floor. I'm surprised the number hasn't dropped that much right there. But what do you think of the late night games, Babano?
Yeah, OKC's played better the last several weeks. There's no doubt about that. It was a rough start. They didn't really get things rolling, particularly defensively early in the season. OKC was not playing a whole lot of it, but playing better now. They're starting to string some wins together, starting to get on a roll, which they pretty much had to when you're playing in a beast of a Western Conference like they do. And they're not a team I'm looking to bet against right now. Wyoming, Nevada, I am not in any rush usually to fade Nevada, but this is a tough night to want to back them. You mentioned it about how 3/5 of the team dealing with the flu bug, sick, ailing right now, not able to play. Wyoming's a capable basketball team. So, I'm not in the business of betting against Nevada. I love that team a lot, but obviously they're in a little bit of a trickier situation here. And if Wyoming can hit some shots, they might be able to stick around here.
Yeah, they bombed 25 fucking threes a game. And yeah, for the record, so Kuzma's back. Kuzma's back. Lopez doesn't really matter that much, to be honest. But Kuzma is back. He does. So I'm seeing a projected lineup here of Ennis, Caldwell, Pope, Ingram, Kuzma, and Lopez. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. It's the one problem with betting on the NBA. Here it is 5 minutes ago. Yeah, it's official. It's official. That's real good. Eh? The official lineup comes out 5 minutes before the fucking game starts. All right, well, no, it's actually, no, that's not true. It came out about at 10:10. So, it's the thing, like DraftKings, man, people who play fantasy basketball, that's like the people that win are the ones that sit there right before the games and they realize, man, motherfucker, this guy's out, that guy's out. It happens. Embiid all day was all over the wire that Embiid's out. Embiid fucking played. Kawhi Leonard didn't. The NBA is a fucking aggravation, very aggravating for that, Babano.
That's why it's more and more. We talked about this how many years now? 1, 2, 3 years? You got to wait till right before tip-off to bet some of these damn games because you don't know what coach is going to do it on a nightly basis, what these coaches are going to do. You don't know what Pop's going to do on a nightly basis. You don't know half the time what Cleveland's going to do with their starters on a nightly basis. A lot of these big-time teams that, they're just trying to get through the regular season, keep everyone healthy, thinking about bigger fish to fry in the spring when the playoffs start. But it's aggravating for bettors. It's aggravating for fantasy players. But really, it's not probably something that's going to change anytime soon.
No, it is. It's funny because Adam Silver wants to incorporate gambling into the mix, actually. All right. So the fucking Michelle Beadle's wearing here tonight.
Yeah, guys in the chat, I'm very well aware Illinois is laying a shit tonight and taking a shit and laying an egg. Sorry about that. It's the way it goes. Can't win them all. On to the next one.
That's a good attitude to have. Yeah, you can't live in the past.
Yeah, exactly. We move on to the next one. That's all there is to it.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I don't even know what the score is. What? Who? The Illinois alumni you're talking about?
I took them plus 7.5. I gave it out on the round table as a best bet, and unfortunately, they're getting crushed. What can you do? It's a good night. Hey, do you read Twitter at Bobano, guys? Do you see the plays I posted there in college basketball night? Other than Illinois, the rest of them there, very good plays. It's been a good night other than that. Illinois is disappointing, but hey, overall, it was a good college basketball card for me tonight. We'll take the rest for sure.
Yeah, I had Marquette, and I had the over. I thought the over was a good bet in that game. Marquette and Providence. The number was a little bit too low right there.
What do we have?
So what's going on, Harry M? So the NBA just did an update saying he was playing in the last second. 5 minutes after they said he wasn't playing. So you're talking about Embiid today? That's what I'm fucking saying, man. It's fucking aggravating with this shit. It pissed me off, that stuff. So yeah, UNLV and San Jose State, Babano. I didn't kick the tires on this one. I am on Wyoming. I'm on the over. I'm on the Oklahoma City Thunder and the over. But the UNLV game, whatever. San Jose State are terrible. UNLV is going to win. But you want to lay 13.5, 14 points on the road?
I would only take UNLV, and I don't love UNLV on the road. It's the reason I don't love it. But San Jose State's god-awful in this conference. They have been for years. I don't trust them here. And if UNLV is even slightly motivated, which they should be, they didn't play very well last time out, they have the chance to absolutely roll this team. So if I'm betting it, I'm laying the points.
All right, guys. So let's talk some NFL football right now. I have some pretty crazy numbers here, actually. None of them support what I like, which is kind of annoying. But they're just fun, sort of interesting numbers. But when you hear them all out loud, you're like, oh, fuck. All right, so the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills haven't won a playoff game. When do you think the last time the Bills won a playoff game at Bano is?
The last time they won a playoff game, 1996? Am I that far off?
Yeah, it's 1995.
Wow, that's close.
Yeah, so they made the playoffs in 1999/2000, but they actually haven't won a playoff game, even though it's the 25th anniversary today of the comeback against the Oilers. That was a great game. A lot of nice little signs for the Bills like this. The anniversary, it's snowing in Jacksonville. There's a lot of good signs. But yeah, Buffalo have not won a playoff game since 1995. They're 0-4 straight up in their last 4 playoff games. So, like, everyone talks about, like, oh, the Bills haven't made a playoff since then. Yeah, whatever. It wasn't like they were winning before that either, fucking the playoffs. So they haven't won since 1995. Tennessee hasn't won a fucking playoff game since 2004. The Kansas City Chiefs have one playoff win since 1994. Get this with the Kansas City Chiefs, and this is something that people don't really realize and put in perspective. The Kansas City Chiefs guys are fucking 1-10 against the spread in their last 11 playoff games, with that one cover against the Houston Texans. They shut them out 2 years ago. It gets ugly too for the Falcons. The Falcons haven't won on the road in the playoffs since 2003. Carolina hasn't won on the road in the playoffs since 2006. And this is pretty impressive. The New Orleans Saints haven't lost a home playoff game since 1993.
So it means one of these teams is going to break some playoff virginity or whatever you want to call it.
It pretty much goes against almost everything I like. You know what I mean? It's like I like the Falcons money line on the road. Well, they haven't won on the road since 2003 in the playoffs. Buffalo hasn't won fucking a playoff game since 95. I think they can win on the money line. I'm not buying into Tennessee winning against the Chiefs, but I'll tell you what, Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs, this 1-10 against the spread's a pretty ugly number, Babano.
Oh, it is. It is ugly. The Tennessee-Kansas City game, to me, is just, that's a lot of points to be laying with the Chiefs. What I've said, and I said it earlier today, I'm putting them in a teaser with the Rams. I'm rolling with that on Saturday is something that I'm going to go heaviest on. Rams teaser down below a field goal. Chiefs teaser below a field goal as well. I like both of them to win the football game, including Kansas City. I don't love them laying this price. But again, when it comes back to the Tennessee Titans, can you trust Mariota and this offense to move the football on the road? I know people are going to poke holes in that Chiefs defense a little bit, Gabe, but that defense did play better at Arrowhead Stadium. There is a little bit of a home road split in terms of the Chiefs' defensive performances road to home. A little bit of a
home. Their home field slipped a little bit of battle for a few years, if you remember. Used to be dominant. You know, in the old days, it was fucking tough to go in there. The last, 7-8 years, it slipped. Like, the Bills beat them there this year. But, they're 6-2 at home this year. They're 6-2 against the spread. As you stated, they play better defensively. The crowd noise. They're one of the few crowds, one of the few stadiums that they really do feed off the crowd in that stadium.
And you know what the problem, too, with Mariota is decision-making. Interceptions have plagued him. Touchdowns were way up last year. Interceptions way down. It's the reverse this year. Interceptions, more interceptions thrown than touchdowns thrown this season for Marcus Mariota. That's a concern going into this loud, raucous, tough environment. And I've railed on Mike Mularkey. I've railed on Terry Robisky for weeks on end, and it's not going to stop. That was a pathetic display of play calling and just taking the temperature of the game. These two numbnuts are not capable of doing that when Tennessee has the ball on offense. They really aren't. They just don't play to the situation and of the game. They're just, they're running when they should be throwing. They're throwing when they should be running. It's a disaster. Robisky's calling plays like it's 1986 NFL because that's when he started coaching, not 2018 now. That is a problem for the Tennessee Titans in this football game. I'm just not convinced, and I don't believe in that offense in a tough road environment. I just don't. So I'm not in love with Chiefs laying this kind of price, but I do think Kansas City wins. Love them in a teaser here in this game.
The Kansas City Chiefs, they give up 16 points a game at home. Yeah, they should win the game. Mike Mularkey and the Tennessee Titans, they're not exactly coming in steamrolling into the playoffs here right now. But with that being stated, the Kansas City Chiefs can't stop the run. That's the one thing that Tennessee can hang their hat on, that if they're smart, they can just play smash mouth football, run the fucking football constantly, run. Do a couple of dink and dunks with Mariota, have Mariota roll out a bit, chew the clock up, keep Alex Smith and company off the field. They're pretty evenly matched, though, in reality. The thing is, Tennessee just aren't a good road team. Tennessee aren't a good road team. But if you look at their numbers, the Tennessee Titans score 20.9 points a game, so essentially 21 points per game. They give up 22 points a game. Kansas City gave up 21 points a game too. So defensively, they're pretty much the same. Kansas City scored 5 more points. There's not a lot of numbers here. It's more the belief of people just think Tennessee blow that's inflated this number than the actual numbers. Because Derrick Henry's a good back, and it's almost helps them by default that DeMarco Murray's hurt because he's better, Henry's better, and it fucking forced them to give the ball to Henry because they're too fucking stupid to figure it out. But Tennessee probably lose. That back door is always going to be open, though, laying that big 9 points, man. I agree with Bano. You know, I'll have Kansas City on a teaser to win the game or in a money line parlay or whatever. But be careful, guys, laying the big points. And, you know, Kansas City's defense is kind of shaky against the run. So if Derrick Henry gets it churning a little bit, you can throw a lot of shit in the playoffs too, guys. You know, regular season numbers and everything. Every year there's always some team that sucked in the regular season. It just is. There's going to be some fucking – their heroes are made, man. Yeah, there's going to be some player that no one's fucking talking about, man. Marcus Murphy's going to score a fucking touchdown for the Bills and they're going to win or something. Like, that's the way this shit goes. But it's hard to really buy into Tennessee here. But there's a lot of numbers that support them, Babano. There really are.
And another thing that drives me nuts about this Tennessee coaching staff, why are we not running more RPO with Mariota, run pass option? Why are we not doing that more? Why are we not maybe pushing the tempo, pushing the pace on offense a little bit more? Because Mariota comes from the school of the Oregon Ducks and the Chip Kelly school of run some pace, run some tempo, clearly a system he was comfortable running at the college level. Why are we not doing that with Tennessee here? Why are we too thick-headed? Why are we not innovative enough, creative enough, showing enough ingenuity with our thought process to figure out, hey, this guy ran pretty good up-tempo system in Oregon as a college quarterback. Maybe we should sprinkle some of that into our playbook here with the Titans. But we're not seeing that. We're not seeing run-pass option with this Tennessee Titans offense whatsoever. It's always drop back, let Mariota try to throw the ball down the field. Let's let this kid show his athleticism, for Christ's sake. Can we not do that here in Tennessee? Let's go, Malarkey and Rubisky. Get with the program. But I've been saying that for weeks. I haven't seen any change. Why am I going to expect now a playoff game with all this rumors floating around that if Tennessee doesn't win this football game, that Malarkey is out of there? Maybe is that going to all of a sudden change their thought? I doubt it. But just the way they're going about trying to make this kid better, they're not. They're pushing him back. They're making him worse with some of the play calling, and I don't see it changing, not one bit.
All right, the Rams and the Falcons, Babano, who do you like in this game?
I know in this game you're big on Atlanta, and like I say, I like the Rams to win this game. There's no way, no how I go against this Rams team because I'm not a believer in Atlanta being this as good as they were last year. I'm not believing in the offensive play calling again, much like it was with Tennessee. I'm believing it being an issue here with this Atlanta team as well under Steve Sarkisian. I will give their defense credit down the stretch. They played better on the defensive side of the ball.
Like the coach's critic, Babano.
I am.
I want to see the Babano coaching book that you wrote. I notice you think every coach sucks.
Tennessee and Atlanta, I do, because these are offenses and quarterbacks that these guys are supposed to be scheming and helping and play calling for that are talented people. Matt Ryan's talented. He's a great quarterback.
Has like one of the top yards per play average in the NFL, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about situational offense has not been good from Atlanta this year. They've made bad play calls at bad times, especially in the red zone. I don't like what I've seen out of Sarkisian's play calling down inside the 20s in the money area. That's been an issue for them. Again, we talked about Tennessee ad nauseum. These are quarterbacks, Ryan and Mariota, with these two organizations that have star capabilities in this National Football League. And unfortunately, Ryan's regressed. Now, Ryan's got the same basically offensive line for the most part. He's got the same group of high-level skill position talent.
They had a fucking NFL record for points per game last year.
They did, but it's still not as good this year.
The Rams with Kurt Warner, they set a record. They didn't score as many points the next year. Kurt Warner didn't suddenly suck.
No, Matt Ryan does not suck, but I'm just saying he has not played anywhere close to the level of last year. He's played good. They're good at times.
They set an NFL record last year.
Yeah, but who was the offensive play caller? It wasn't Sarkisian drunk at the wheel, was it? It was Shanahan. And where's he now?
It's like Sarkisian's not drunk though. Like it's like an easy cop out with Babano, it seems. Oh, Sarkisian's drunk. You really think Sarkisian's drunk and that's why the play calling sucks in Atlanta? Or do you think that the play calling has sucked all year in Atlanta?
I don't think it's been good enough for the large part of the year. There's been the odd time it's worked, okay, but there's been what happened in that New England game there against a real team? What did that Atlanta team do there offensively? Zip in that game. Zilch, nada, none, zero. They didn't score anything in that game. Every time they got down inside the 5-yard line, they did stupid shit time and time again in that football game. So I'm going to have to see it from Atlanta in this game. The one concern with the Rams, and there is one, and that it's a valid concern. It's the thing you've been harping at all week long, and I've heard it. It's an experience factor situation. There's way more of it for Atlanta. They've been to Super Bowls. They've won playoff games. None of these players hardly on the LA Rams have done that. This is new territory for McVay, new territory for Goff, new territory for Gurley. Totally understand that, and I get that. But sometimes I'm going to overlook a situation where I just feel a team's in a good zone heading into the playoffs. I feel that's the LA Rams right now. I know the inexperience is not what it is on the Atlanta side, or in terms of the experience of the postseason. But I think Sean McVay resting guys last week was good for them, gives them a chance to really be fresh, be rested, be ready. Atlanta's got to take that trip out there. A little bit of a disadvantage situationally for them and from a travel perspective. I'm not in love with the price at the current number. And if you want to make a case for Atlanta plus 6.5, I can understand why. That's not the greatest price to lay with the Rams, especially when it opens.
Okay, but do you have a pick for us on the game then?
Over. I like the over as well in this game.
You seem to come hard and then you back off and say, well, but I don't really like it.
No, I like the Rams as the second leg of my teaser for Saturday. Chiefs and the Rams. They've got them both in a 2-team 6-point teaser. I like the over in this game because I've been riding Ram games over the total. 5 straight overs to end the regular season. They're going to score on this Atlanta team. There's too many weapons. Goff's played well. Gurley's not been stopped by anybody. The Rams defense is it's a good defense, but Atlanta's got talent. If Sarkisian can put him in the right spot, they're going to still be able to put up at least some points to this Atlanta Falcons team. Rams aren't shutting them down. So higher scoring game, Rams win. Could be a close one. I'm not willing to find out. I like them in a teaser, and I like the over.
All right. We should note, so yeah, Jared Goff making his playoff debut. Quarterbacks making their playoff debut are 11-27 straight up. Just figured I'd throw that out there, which will lead us into the Bills game, which both quarterbacks are making their playoff.
I know. Let's pick your poison on that one. Jacksonville, yep.
Both teams have been out of the playoffs for a while as well. One thing with the Atlanta Falcons, we'll see. I've been talking about this. I follow the Falcons pretty closely. The whole Sarkisian thing is overrated. They had a Super Bowl hangover. Matt Ryan's kind of been shaky. Matt Ryan was never great either, Babano. Matt Ryan had a fucking career year last year. He's never going to be as good as he was last year, and he was never as good as he was before last year. You know what I mean? He was never that good. Matt Ryan's been Matt Stafford. Except Stafford's kind of been more consistent. Matt Ryan was never really that good. Really, Matt Ryan was kind of not a bust, but, and I was wrong. When Matt Ryan was drafted, I went on the radio and I remember stating, he will win a Super Bowl. I was adamant. I said, Matt, I wouldn't have been a genius last year too. Fuck, call my shot. I said, Matt Ryan out of Boston College. I'm like, he's going to win a Super Bowl. He's got it all. But he's sort of been average. He's Matt Stafford, really. And he had that wicked year last year. But as far as their offense is concerned, they're the 8th ranked passing offense in the National Football League. As far as yards per play is concerned, I think they're number 2 actually in the NFL. They didn't score as many points. They were shaky, but I think the Sarkisian thing is way, way overrated. And the fact of the matter is the Atlanta Falcons, if you look at their season, Babano, all their losses came early in the year. They're 6-2 in their last 8 games. They're peaking at the right time right now. I want to see, though, that they fucking run the fucking football in this game. You got to keep that Ram offense off the field. Run the motherfucking football against an LA Ram team that gives up 4.7 yards a clip on the ground and are ranked 28th in the National Football League against the run. You've got Devontae Freeman. You got Tevin Coleman. You've got to run the football and then once in a while use the play action and throw the ball. Don't get pass happy because you got Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, etc. And I think they will. I really do. I think they're going to be able to run the ball very successfully on the Rams. And I think the Rams will implode. I think they will implode. I do, I'll take my chances. Like I said, the last 38 quarterbacks that played their first ever playoff game, only 11 of them won. So I'll take my fucking chance with the defending MVP of the National Football League against a kid that, how many games did he win at Cal? 6? Kid never even won a fucking bowl game, I don't think, Jared Goff. Now suddenly he's going to go and navigate his way through an NFL playoff game on a Saturday night in prime time. It's not happening. The Falcons are going to beat these kids outright.
Oh, good luck.
That's it. Giving me luck's not going to change anything, Babano. Whatever's going to happen on the field is going to happen.
That's right. Whatever happens, whatever will be. Que sera, sera. Exactly right.
Yeah, sera, sera. Yeah, but
Archie Bunker said sera, sera. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. It's like someone congratulated me on the Bills today. I told them I don't play for them. Fuck. They're like, congratulations on making the playoff. It's like Kramer winning the Tony. Thank you. I have so many people I want to thank.
You see, I happen to think Devontae Freeman, he's going to play. He's going to play through whatever's bothering him, but he is a little bit banged up. I think they're actually going to throw a little bit in this game. Not completely. They are going to run a little bit, but I think they're also going to throw a lot because Kayvon Webster's out of this game for the LA Rams, and he's a big part of that team in the secondary. One of their best cornerbacks as far as I'm concerned. And that's a concern for LA in that back seven and that pass defense when you're facing the likes of the receivers Atlanta can throw. That is an issue. So I actually think Atlanta could take a little bit more of a pass-heavy approach in this game because of that Webster injury for the Rams. So something to keep an eye on. Kind of why I like the over in that game at 48.5 as well.
The only thing that worries me about the Rams, I'm not worried about Goff. And Sammy Watkins doesn't scare me. Cooper Kupp doesn't scare me and all that bullshit. Todd Gurley does scare me. Like, that's the deal. Like, the Falcons are going to have to fucking chin up, man. And they're going to have to really man up on the line here because Todd Gurley's arguably the best player in the NFL right now. But as far as everyone else is concerned, I'm not overly concerned. The spread is too high. The Rams aren't covering. They're not going to blow the Falcons out. I can't guarantee you the Falcons are going to win a game. They're plus 240 on the money line for a reason. But I don't trust new teams in the playoffs in these spots, especially laying points. I think the Rams are ripe to get punched in the mouth here by a Falcon team. So which leads us into the Bills, Babano, the Bills and the Jaguars. Now, what's the updated line on this one? I think this one was going up too. Let me fucking confirm.
We got Jacksonville 8.5 consensus number, 9 at bookmaker / Chris, but mostly 8.5 pretty much.
9. I've seen 9s too.
Yep.
Yeah, the Falcons is 6.5 everywhere. It just hasn't moved. They're not moving it. Like they don't seem to want to move that. The people that got in on the Rams, Gabe, they've already gotten in early. I mean, they pushed it from 4 to 6.5, and as soon as it hits 7 on Atlanta, if it goes that high, it's going to be buyback immediately on the Atlanta side. So it's pretty much going to bounce around this 6.5 range right till kickoff. I don't. It's not going to get to 7, like you said. Well, if anything, it might go down to 6. But it's funny actually because I was reading an interview with the lines makers at Bookmaker, and they were stating they don't like the line in this game. That they didn't want to make it this high with the Falcons and the Rams, but the public likes the Rams. The Rams are the sexier it kids right now. People always like the flashier offense, the it kid at the moment. So the Bills and the Jags, this line keeps climbing a bit, and I think it's the LaShawn McCoy stuff. People really seem to be fascinated and stuck on fucking LaShawn McCoy. And he didn't practice today. Like, does anyone really fucking think that he was going to practice today? Like, Kyle Williams didn't practice today either for the Buffalo Bills. Lorenzo Alexander, fuck. Half the fucking team didn't practice for the Buffalo Bills today. It's not about practice right now, man. They're all fucking beat up like motherfuckers. Everyone in the NFL is beat up, Abano. No one's 100% right now, whether they're telling you it or not. And, yeah, LaShawn McCoy is banged up, but you think this guy's driving around in his car fucking on Instagram, laughing it up fucking in the snow the other day if he's not playing and shit? It's a big smokescreen, Babano. The Bills are playing everybody with this shit.
Well, of course, this is a playoff game. This is the first playoff game in the franchise in almost 20 years. LaShawn McCoy has found ways to crush his way through games despite injuries all season long. He's going to play in some form in this game. How effective is he going to be? How limited is he going to be? That's a totally different question entirely. But anybody with half a brain is going to know he's going to tough it out and try and play in this game and try to give it his all for the Buffalo Bills. And I'm with basically you in this game in the sense that I'm not so much in love with the Buffalo side in this game, even catching this many points. It's that I just flat out don't trust Doug Marrone, Jacksonville, and Blake Bortles laying this number more than anything else. I'm lukewarm on the Bills side, but I'll have it in pocket. Buffalo, a bet on them here in this game, just because of that element of I don't trust Jacksonville in this situation as well, laying this kind of number in their first playoff game for a lot of these guys and for Doug Marrone. And, Doug Marrone's still got a lot of proving to me. I'm in the Donnie Rightside camp, and why didn't he rest his guys last week? That made no sense to me whatsoever. They went in there in Tennessee, got beat up, physical game that really was not necessary. So you got to worry how many of these Jacksonville players are banged up and beleaguered a little bit going into this football game. And it's going to be an ugly game. It's a game that I don't think anybody expected we were going to see in the playoffs, a week ago. But Jacksonville, laying more than a touchdown. Sorry, I don't trust it. I know Buffalo might have trouble moving the ball if their offense becomes one-dimensional, if McCoy is hampered and they have to throw the ball. Jacksonville does have arguably the best pass defense, best secondary, Bryce Ramsey and company in the NFL. That's a concern for me. But is Jacksonville going to be able to make enough plays with Bortles' arm to cover a number of this size in a pressure-packed playoff game? I'm not convinced.
Yeah, they only have they've got Leonard Fournette. That's basically what they've got. And
he's not even run the ball as well the last
Fournette has struggled. In the last 7 games, he's only topped 69 yards once. He's got 2 100 yards games in the last 7 weeks. And one of the 100-yard games, he basically popped like a 78-yarder or something once. He's hit a wall. And, he never played a full season at LSU. He was always injured. And now it's the same crap in the NFL. He's been banged up all year. And the kid has hit a wall right now. Now, the Buffalo Bill defense, you can run on them. I can't, if I'm going to call out, the Rams' weakness against the run, the Bills are even fucking worse. The Rams give up 121 yards a game on the ground. The Bills give up 124. But the Jacksonville Jaguars give up 116. So it's like the Bills give up 8 yards more on the ground. The Jags cannot stop the run because they're so fucking aggressive. They over-pursue everything. They have all these guys blitzing the quarterback and all these linemen coming at you. If you can get through it, you're going to be able to fucking pick up some yards on these guys. And the thing with that pass rush, too, with Jacksonville, we saw this, and Cam Stewart talked about this today. You watch that game with the Seattle Seahawks and the Jacksonville Jaguars. In the second half, Russell Wilson went up and down the field on them. And basically because he was mobile. He was able to fucking get away from them and shit. And there was another game with a mobile quarterback that they had success. And Tyrod Taylor, anytime that they pursue, they're going to try to box him in. They're not going to let him roll out. They want to keep him in the pocket. So it's really going to be a battle, Babano, of whether Tyrod Taylor can break through that wall or not. And if he can, he's going to make some fucking plays, man. I love scrambling quarterbacks in the playoffs, man. Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick. You can't defend this shit. And no one does it in the regular season, guys. Quarterbacks will run in the regular season, but it's only really when plays break down. You're going to see, I guarantee you, Alex Smith and the Kansas City Chiefs, they will have designed run plays for Alex Smith. They will have a couple of plays where they're going to fool everybody and Alex is going to take off the other way. Tyrod Taylor, same shit with the Bills. Matt Ryan, no. But Tyrod Taylor, same shit with the Bills. They're going to tell him, listen, we've got big problems getting open against this secondary. Anytime you can take off, fucking go. Now it's the playoffs, you go. And it's the same thing why I like the Panthers. Cam Newton raises it up a notch in the playoffs. During the regular season, he doesn't want to hurt his shoulder and run you over and shit. In the playoffs, he'll fucking run you over, and he's bigger than most linebackers are. So suddenly he becomes more of a load to deal with, and it's more unpredictable. Because in a regular season, it's like, man, Cam Newton ain't killing himself right now, running right now. And if he does, he'll run out of bounds or whatever. And same shit with Taylor. Taylor's a little guy. Now it's in the playoffs. Taylor will fucking take off. The Buffalo Bills have a better quarterback than the Jags do. Tyrod Taylor's better than Blake Bortles. And the Buffalo Bill defense will be able to create turnovers. They give up a lot of yards on the ground, but the Bills are fucking opportunistic, man. Even against the Patriots we saw a couple of weeks ago, they were creating turnovers. The Bills' defense creates turnovers. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to fucking choke and implode on their home fucking field. I'm telling you. The Bills are winning this game outright.
Gabe, look at them. Look at the confidence. I love it. I'm telling you, they're going to win this.
I'm just as confident in the Atlanta Falcons.
I know.
I think the Atlanta Falcons and the Buffalo Bills both win. I can't say the same about the Panthers.
You know what? And I like that you're confident. They all should be. These to me are always tough because you can make great cases for both sides. In any one of these games, we're into the playoffs now, the best of the best. But I'm with you. I can't lay these points with Jacksonville. I got to ask now. We got to figure this out because we'll be in Vancouver when this game's going on. This is a 10 a.m. local time game in Vancouver. The bars aren't even open yet. What the hell is your game plan for this game? What are you doing on Sunday for it?
I've got to do a betcast here on SBR.
That's what I heard. I'm like, are you guys fibbing or are you jerking my chain or what? What's going on? But it's true. You're doing one. Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm doing it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Working on Sunday. Wow.
I thought betcast season was over, but there's 4 games. So yeah, I said, all right, if I'm going to do one of them, I'll do the Bills games since I'm a Bills fan. But yeah, the bars will be open at 10 a.m. They open up early. They serve breakfast and booze, 10 a.m. But I'm not going to lie. By the time Sunday morning rolls around, I'll be beaten down. From Saturday, from Friday night, which we'll definitely party. We're not going to sit in Saturday night. Fuck, we got guys coming from all over the place. So we're going to go out Saturday again. Go out, watch the Rams game and stuff.
Yeah, the 2 games.
Yeah, business as usual. I'll do a quick little Patreon show Saturday night from wherever we are. And then Sunday morning, 10 a.m., I'll be doing it from the Airbnb there. The betcast with the Buffalo Bills, which kind of sucks in a way because if they don't play well, I don't want to sit here fucking watching a game like with fucking a bunch of people fucking going, oh, the Bills suck.
You'd rather... If things go south, you'd rather just, have your own moment of sadness and just get the grief over with on your own. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm probably going to be all hung over. It's going to be 10 in the fucking morning. And I'm going to have to deal with, Morency, you said the Bills are going to win. And look, they suck and all this. But I feel good about it. I think they're going to win. No, we're going to be going solo here. Babano will be in the house. So we'll bring Babano on. Big Man's doing the Panthers game after.
Yeah. Big Man and Donnie are doing the Panthers game and the Chiefs game. Exactly. Yep.
I don't know what they're doing for the Titans game. But I'll be doing the Bills game Sunday morning at 10 o'clock Vancouver time, unfortunately, of all fucking times. If I wasn't in BC, I'd probably go to this game, actually.
Yeah, we're staying in the same Airbnb. Yeah, I'll pop on during that bedcast. Sure. Let's join you for a little bit.
Oh, no, Big Man wants to do it. Sorry, Big Man. I didn't know you were on board. Yeah, so Big Man's going to do it. There he is. Poor Big Man. He's like, no. Sorry, Big Man, you're out. But you're Bills bashing. You're not welcome on this
There's
show.
No show you can keep Big Man away from. Come on, you know that. He's just workaholic.
And Big Man on campus, ready to go.
Ready to roll. He's ready anytime. You can call him 3 a.m. Hey, Big Man, we got to do an emergency live show on SBR 3 a.m. Call him when he's sleeping. All right, I'm on. I'm in. Let's go. Let's do it.
I noticed all you fucking Eagle fans. I'm tired of your Bills hate. I got into it Chris Meany today too, or yesterday. We got $100 on the game now. I'm gonna fucking. He's gonna owe me $295. So I got screwed on the money line because the money line went up today. So listen, people are making an argument though that the Bills. It's either in between. And I know Gil Alexander had this stat. Everyone's fucking talking about this stat today. Lawrence brought it up. Everyone's talking about it. That point spreads don't matter in the wild card weekend. Basically, you're like, I like this team plus the points. It's like the Bills are either going to win or they're going to get smoked. You know what I mean? The Falcons will either fucking win or they won't cover. It's one of those deals. It's sort of like the Super Bowl, but it's like an 81% clip in the wild card round, Babano. It's fucking nuts. So we almost kid ourselves, and we always talk about how point spreads are kind of irrelevant in the NFL. We just they're fake, man. We overvalue them in our heads when they don't really come into play that often. But in wild card weekend, they really don't come into play. Whatever team wins is going to win. And it doesn't mean the favorites win, because get this. Going back to 1980, guys, 52 fucking wild card underdogs have won outright in wild card weekend. 52 of them going back to 1980. So there are upsets in wild card weekend because they're not great teams playing, right? They're evenly matched. They're like these shitty bowl games. You know, you got, you know, the 10 and 9 and 7 teams and 10 and 6 versus 9 and 7, etc. You know, there's not a lot to give between the teams really coming into the weekend. So there could be some upsets, Babano. I really believe that. And the one game, it's crazy. I think I'm with you. I think the Chiefs on the teaser I like. I'm going to go on the other side. I'll tease the Chiefs with the Falcons plus the 13.5 or maybe to the over 41.5. I like the Bills to hang around, and I'm going to play the money line. But I see the Panthers and the Saints game being that one close game where the Saints could win, but the Panthers could cover. I think 7's too high in that game.
It very well could be. And going back to your point about the teams that are winning the game straight up are also covering the number. So how about since 2002 in the wild card round, you've got teams 41-19 straight up, 41-18-1 against the spread.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's pretty good. They're covering. I mean, you pick the straight up winner, you're probably going to be picking the ATS winner. And that goes back to my point when you're betting on an underdog against the spread. If you're betting on an underdog against the spread, and it's not just playoffs or wild card round, it's any sport, anytime. I don't get why you wouldn't bet the underdog on the money line. I really don't. Do you not want to maximize your return on investment? Do you not want to treat this seriously as a financial gain for you long term? Because if you do believe in that and value it, and this is something I want to do to make money long term, when you're betting an underdog plus the points, you need to have something. I don't care if it's 2% of your bet, 5%, 10%, 25%, but you have to have something, in my opinion, on the underdog on that money line. You're maximizing your return on your investment. You've got to have some kind of belief, don't you? In the back of your mind that if you think the underdog can cover, they've got a shot to win the game. You've got to take that percentage chance.
Underdog,
yep.
You don't want to be betting on a team, it's true, if you don't think they have a chance to win the game, right? You're like, well, no, I don't think they have a hope in hell of winning the game. I'm hoping for a backdoor cover.
Exactly right.
Why don't you just bet 100%. On the fucking team, the favorite then, right? Like, if you're thinking, well, probably, maybe I could cover. Maybe, no, I don't think they can win. Like, that's why you don't hear me saying, oh, I'm taking the Tennessee Titans on the money line. I can't sell that. I don't believe that. I do believe that the Falcons can win this game. And I do believe, I think Tennessee could cover the spread. I don't think they can win a game. I think the Atlanta Falcons can beat the Rams and, beat them by a touchdown type shit. 7-point underdogs. They can win by fucking 6 or 7 type thing. I think the Bills and the Jags are incredibly evenly matched. And similar situation, man. The Panthers really could beat the Saints too.
No, you know 1,000%. I mean, if I'm betting an underdog plus the points, I've got some kind of belief in the pit of my stomach that this team can win the basketball game, football game, whatever it is. Every single time, there's a belief that, hey, the underdog not only can hang, they can win the damn game. So I will be on the money line every single time. And it varies. Sometimes I'll have 5% of my spread bet on the money line on the underdog, sometimes 10%, sometimes even a little higher than that.
I do 50-50.
You do 50-50. Yeah, if you want to, if you're feeling that confident they can win the game outright, go for it. It's everybody's personal preference. But I'm just saying that if you really want to take this seriously, what you're doing, betting on sports, trying to maximize your return on investment long-term, grinding out profits day by day doing this, when you're betting underdogs plus the points, put something on the money line. Even if it's just a smidget, if it's a little crumb, put something on the money line because you got to have that belief, in my opinion, that they can win.
Yeah, you look at so this comes down to do you believe you can't beat a team 3 times in the same season? Because that's what we're dealing with here with the Saints. The Saints beat the Panthers twice this year. Can they beat them a 3rd time right now in a row? The Saints, or the Panthers, excuse me, they're an unpredictable team, man. They are. But the thing is, I think we're overly hard on the Panthers. I brought this up today. It's a Cam Newton thing. If Cam Newton throws, and it's same with Tyrod Taylor. I don't know if it's just a black quarterback thing, but Tyrod Taylor makes one bad play. People fucking freak, man. Twitter blows up. Bills fans fucking turn on him. I fucking told you, man, this guy fucking can't do this, can't do it. You know what I mean? They freak out. He makes a bunch of good plays. They don't say anything. Cam Newton plays well for fucking, the Panthers are actually 6-1 in the last 7 games. They didn't play well against Tampa, and then they lost last week, but they're still 6-1 in the last 7 or 6-2 in the last 8, whatever. Cam Newton plays well. No one really says anything. Cam Newton struggles in a game. Oh, Cam Newton's so overrated. There's like a double standard with him where I think a perception becomes that he struggles more than he actually does at times. And the fact of the matter is with this New Orleans and Carolina game, we have 2 11-5 teams going head-to-head here. And one of them, I don't know, people just to me, I get it. Cam Newton can break your heart sometimes, but I think the fucking spread in this game is insane. And I think the lack of respect for the Carolina Panthers is going to cost people money because I think the Panthers are a more physical team than the Saints are. And I do believe it's going to be difficult for the Saints to beat them 3 straight motherfucking times. And I do believe that Cam Newton's going to raise the level of his game in the playoffs and start running people over and become that dual threat quarterback. I think Cam Newton and the Panthers can win this game. I like them on the points. And if they don't win the game, I think it'll be a close, high-scoring game of Bano. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch, this one.
This Superman is just a dream. Yes, Cam can break your heart. Little Neil Young. Yes, only Cam can break your heart. Yeah, Cam can break your heart. And you know what? He's got that ability to just dominate a game, and he's got that ability to just throw away a game and make bad decisions, hang on to the ball too long, take too many sacks. So
that's the thing. Cam Newton's never cost them a game. He just isn't a star all the time. Like, it's not like he's a turnover machine, Babano. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the perception. Like, you just said, oh, he does this, he does that. No, he doesn't. He doesn't do that. But he's not an MVP every week. That's the problem.
No, exactly. And they're going to have to rely on running this football a little bit too in this game. We'll see if they're able to do it. The Saints, to me, though, Gabe, I've got an issue with them laying points in this game. I think they win, but I think it could be a close game. I actually am leaning a little bit more and more to Carolina. I know that Dome's a tough place, but did you see what Tampa Bay did to that Saints defense last week? They basically, Tampa Bay going up and down the field against them in that football game against the Saints defense. And that Saints defense just hasn't been consistent down the stretch. That's an issue I have, especially when you're asked to lay the kind of points that New Orleans is here in this football game. I kind of like the over in this game. I know Donnie really, really likes the under. I kind of like the other side of it with the total in this game because I've also seen Carolina's defense. There's teams that have gone up and down the field against them. Their red zone defense has saved them. I remember when they played Tampa, thank goodness they got stops on Jameis Winston in the red zone because they were going up and down against Carolina inside or in between the 20s. It was in the red zone they tightened up. I think both teams are actually going to move this ball. It's been an over-dominated series. I mean, Carolina, New Orleans, it's been one over after another with these two teams. And in terms of this thing you mentioned about it's hard to beat the same team 3 times in the same season, it's total bullshit. You can absolutely beat the same team 3 times in a season. That's just an old wives' tale. That's old folklore. That's total rubbish as far as I'm concerned. You can beat a team 3 times in a row. Doesn't mean it always happens, but it can be done. I don't really fall into that trap of believing you can't beat a team 3 times in the same season. It could go either way from a point spread perspective. It's not a big side for me either way, taking Carolina plus the points, but I don't want to lay it with New Orleans. I like the over. I'm going to bet this game over the total because I think it's going to see both offenses move it a little bit.
Depends on the sport, Babano. NFL it is. There's a track record of teams. I got to find a number right now. But NFL, the track record is the teams they usually don't win the 3rd game. But I've noticed, like in college basketball, they do. like they play twice in conference play and then in a tournament or something like that. It's a good point, though, you raise. I mean, it depends. NFL, though, there's so much parity. But the point is, if you beat the team twice already, you're just better than they are, right? So the chances are you'll beat them again. I mean, I get that. But the thing in the NFL, actually, and I want to see the number because I saw it. All right, let's just see. No, I don't know. I'll find it after. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. Listen, Cam Newton and old man, you're right. Cam Newton should have dove on that loose football. I mean, that's inexcusable. It's fucking excusable. They didn't dive on that loose football. he's moody, he's aloof. That's the thing. But at the same point in time, like Tommy C says, when fucking Cam Newton makes massive plays and then he can't complete a fucking screen pass. Like, he does weird ass shit. But he's played pretty well in the playoffs in his career. And I just think Carolina and New Orleans are very evenly matched. I just think the number is way too high. All right, Babano. So the two plays you like the over in the Rams game, and you like the over in this game, and you're going to tease the Chiefs and the Rams.
That's pretty much it. I mean, that's going to be my most substantial bets and opinions in this wild card round. And from a side perspective, I think it's a very, very dicey round. And Buffalo, I'm going to take Buffalo too, plus the points. Again, lukewarm on that, but I'll have that as well.
All right, so we'll take a quick break here, and then we'll get Babano's thoughts. Get Babano's thoughts on the national championship game. I was going to say, what, Cam Stewart is such a nice guy.
I was going to say it's Cam Newton. You better be talking about Cam Newton, not Stewart. Not the raging redhead. As good a guy as you'll ever see.
I don't think Cam Newton's a dick. I wouldn't say that. Listen, I never met him. I saw him at a bar once, but he does stuff for kids and stuff. He's not a dick, but he's pretty temperamental. You know what I mean? All these fucking modern athletes are. That's the problem. That's the problem. But, yeah, I think I'm taking the Falcons on the money line, the Bills on the money line, and the Panthers on the money line. Me and Big Man on Campus talked about this parlay the other night, guys. Ride the wave. We're going to cash it. It's going to change everyone's life. You
know what? I don't love each of those sides, but I like your betting strategy. If you like the dog, you take the money line. Way to go. That's what you should be doing.
Kansas City Chiefs, Atlanta Falcons, Buffalo Bills, and the Carolina Panthers. Parlay pays 60 to 1.
There you go. That's not a bad payout at all. Exactly.
You put $100 on that. That pays $6,000 motherfucking dollars.
Yep.
$200.
That's what you call.
That's $12,000. You know what's good though? Let's say you put $200 on this parlay. Kansas City's going to win. Then you need to get your way through the next one. But you put yourself in a decent head spot going into the Sunday. And if somehow the Bills win, you got a 60 to 1 ticket on the Panthers. You got yourself a real nice hedge right there.
That is an instant bankroll booster right there. If that comes through, no question about it. You're going to be playing with a lot more dough if that comes in, and that's not a bad thing.
You got to go 4-0 though. You got to pick all 5. Thing is, Cam Stewart loves this parlay too, but he likes it all up to Carolina. He wants to put the Saints on it. If you do it with the Saints, it's 22 to 1. So if you take the Kansas City Chiefs on the money line, the Buffalo Bills on the money line, the Atlanta Falcons on the money line, and the New Orleans Saints on the money line, it's 22 to 1. I prefer that 60 to 1 with the Panthers. But let's take a quick 5, Babano. We'll come back. We'll get your quick take on the championship game, maybe a little hockey future, and we'll let you get ready for your show in the morning, get ready for the big trip that we got coming up here. So bong break, bowl break, do what you got to do, guys. A lot of points. The total's looking good here in this Oklahoma City game. What's going on in the Wyoming game right now? Let's see. 23-20.
Yeah,
oh, 23-22.
Yep. Tell you, Nevada.
So looking good. I mean, we're getting 12 points, and we're down by 1. That's not bad, but a little lower scoring than I'd like, Babano.
Yeah, exactly. The points need to start flowing in that because you're right.
I like the fucking points in Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. It's an NBA score. It's 109.87 right now.
I know. I was leaning over, and I'm sometimes get gun shy with 160s and 170s in college basketball. I get gun shy looking over the total, but I've seen a bunch of games where 160s, 170s, they're still finding a way to get over.
They scored more points than I like to do the math after. I bet you they outscored a bunch of NBA games.
They both play with pace.
109 to 89 right now. Holy motherfucker. For a fucking college game. It's not even an overtime.
They're both good offensively. They're both mediocre defensively, and they both play fast. So there you go. You got the perfect tonic for an over. I thought it was factored in the mid 160s, high 160s, but obviously not enough. They're flying over that number. Not even an easy winner there if you had the over. By the way, I've got an old NFL game on that showed up on this TV here. It's Philadelphia, Arizona NFC Championship game from, I think, like 8 or 9 years ago. Kurt Warner against Donovan McNabb. That was a crazy game. I remember it.
Yeah.
That's what
You're a football historian, eh? You like watching those old games, huh?
I do. I got it on one of the TVs here. Philly, Arizona, an old game, and that was the game that Kurt Warner and Arizona won. It was a wild, high-scoring shootout, and they played Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl that year.
You know what's funny, remember? I hate the past, so I never watch that shit. Like sometimes I see it, I mean, watching, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this game. Then I just sort of remember. I'm like, oh yeah, I was sitting in that place. Then it just reminds me about. I'm like, fuck this. Like, I don't want to watch this. Mondays, I hate that. I walk into the studio all the time, and they always have it on like the replay of the NFL games. I'm like, man, I just lost $600 on that game. I don't want to see it fucking in the back of my head all day here.
Yeah, Andy Reid, there he is. Andy Reid still with the Eagles back then. Yeah, and Andy Reid still with the Eagles, obviously, back then. So that had to have been almost 10 years ago at that, 10 or 11 even. It's a long time ago.
That's when Arizona went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, against Pittsburgh that year, yeah. That was John Madden's final game in the booth for Sunday Night Football, too, with Al Michaels, that Super Bowl. So that was a long time ago. Yep.
We did a road rage. We did that show. We did a show that day. I remember at Palace Station in Vegas. I
remember that one. Yeah.
In the Super Bowl drop.
Cheapskate Eric Cohen was a big topic of discussion that weekend. Yeah.
It was funny. James Harrison. Yeah, James Harrison fucked me over, man. That fucking interception return, the pick six, right before the end of the half. I had the first half under in that game. And I think I had like fucking $500 on it. So I was getting $600. I was going to get $1,200 back. And I had the ticket in my hand. I remember standing there. I was like, man, we're going to hit this. We're going to hit this. And I remember James Harrison just running down the sidelines. I was like, man, somebody just push him out of bounds. You don't even need to tackle him. Just push him, fuck. And no one did. It was all these big, fat, white linemen trying to catch him. And they couldn't. And I just remember he was like running right at me on the screen. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. He's about to score. And I remember reading after, I think Phil Ivey lost a $500,000 bet. First half bet. Phil Ivey, the poker player, I think he had a $500,000 bet on the first half under in that game. And he lost because of that play too.
Yeah, and as soon as he sees a bunch of fat 300-pound linemen doing wind sprints down the field trying to catch James Harrison, he knew he was fucked right as soon as he saw that.
Old man says that, Larry and Wawa was there. What's up, Larry? You were there. Yeah, and old man says it should have been a fucking touchback, that Fitzgerald knocked the ball out of bounds. That's interesting. All right, take five. Take a quick five here, guys.
All right, 5 minutes. We'll be back, talk college football, then we'll wrap. We'll be out of here at 11:30. We'll let Gabe wrap up after. So back in 5. See you soon.
Yeah, Darsh won a TV, and then remember Drew from Nelson was there and nearly got us arrested and kicked out. And that was a wild weekend. We went to the UFC the night before, whoever had fought in the UFC that night. We had some epic Super Bowl blasts in those old days. I don't know. We're going to figure out a Super Bowl blast here. I might actually just have my own Super Bowl party. I haven't decided. Three balls starting to fall in the Laker game. That was a recording from our show the other night.
There you go. Brand new Homicide, hot off the press, that audio clip. Very nice. Yeah.
New video here. Put it in the chat here. A new Homicide. We did it. We were very choppy on YouTube about it. We had stuck the computer in the bar. It was very choppy, but we have a lot of cell phone footage and stuff. It's clear as fuck. It's crazy how clear this phone stuff is, man. We'll get some good footage Friday night of the road rage. No doubt. It's going to be off the hook. A lot of local Vancouver people coming down.
Oh, I can't name enough of the people. There's Cody AV, there's Van Fob, there's Jazz is going to be there. Darsh plans on being there. I think Mr. Baz might show up. I think Steve from Vancouver might show up. But this Just the Mess is going to be there. It's just, and I know I'm forgetting a couple more. I mean, it's going to be absolutely packed. We've got the people coming from out of town that you've talked about. Chris Edge and the Berg are both going to be there from the United States. We're looking forward to that. So it's going to be a great turnout. Looking forward to it. Parkdale Drink last year, Gabe, was a lot of fun. I mean, that was a great event in Toronto last year for the 15th anniversary. That was a great night, and I'm sure we're going to have a good time in Vancouver this weekend as well. Should be great.
Yeah, last year was a good time. Time goes by fast. Hard to believe it was a whole year that flew by. Year 16. Red Card this Friday night in Vancouver. We'll broadcast live right here. So we'll have time to talk about the championship game of battle. But the number came down today. I mentioned this off the top of the show. At the end of that Clemson game, as the game was going on, no one really talked about it too much. But systematically, if you notice, Bama players kept dropping, man. And key guys, too. If we look right now. So linebacker Anthony Jennings said he had surgery. He's not playing. Boom. So he's out. Surgery is a success. Still have to wait. Unfortunately, I played my last game this year. I'll be back next year. I know that God makes no mistakes. I've went through it all, and I trust and depending on him. He's my that's why he's my grader, blah, blah, right? So he's a pretty strong kid. He's accepted. He's out of it. Like, that kind of sucks, dude. You're a starting linebacker. You're playing a national championship game, and you're out. And, he's just thinking, man, whatever, fuck. I'm going to the NFL one day. All right. What else? They got injury problems. They got a list of about 5-6 guys here. Now, we'll wait until Friday to really lock in what the injury report's looking like. But they got beat up as that game went on. Now, it is Alabama. They are fucking deep. But these kids are starters for a reason.
Yeah, they've got to do some shuffling around there. I mean, you look at it, Anthony Jennings, a big part of this team in the linebacking core. They've got other guys that are banged up. They've had injuries to, Hamilton, Dylan Moses as well. So this is really going to be this is where you're going to find out just how well Alabama can recruit position by position in a game like this, Morency, when you're dealing with the kind of cluster injuries they are going into this game at the linebacker spot. The thing for me is in this game is I've been wanting all week to take Georgia, and I'm still leaning to the Georgia side +4, but I'm in that once bitten, twice shy mode right now because I was on Clemson on Monday night, and they looked overwhelmed, and their offense simply did not work going up against that Alabama defense. And I respect the way Jake Fromm has played. Jake Fromm has looked like a cool customer under pressure time and time again. And I like that he had no interceptions, no bad throws, no bad mistakes, bad decisions against Oklahoma. But now he's facing a much tougher, much deeper defense that's going to be more familiar with him. Fromm's good, but he's not mobile. He's not a fleet of foot. That could be a little bit of an issue because we know what's challenged Alabama in the past. The mobile quarterbacks have a little bit of an issue I have with that. If Clemson didn't look so overwhelmed and just clearly the second best team on the field start to finish last week, I'd have more confidence in going against Bama. I just feel they're on a mission. They've talked about being angry, pissed off, that their identity was tarnished after losing to Clemson last year in the championship game. They sort of want to go on that revenge tour this year and avenge and make amends for that loss. And that's a tough thing for me to step in front of right now. I'd still lean Georgia, though, +4. I really believe in Kirby Smart's ability to get this team ready to go and have a chance to win this game. I think I'll have some kind of smaller bet on it. I don't think it'll be significant, though, and the reasons are after seeing what Alabama did to Clemson the other night.
Yeah, it's stylistically, it's all matchups, though, right? Clemson's offense is pedestrian. They have a freshman quarterback. They were challenged. Georgia's offense is fucking lethal as fuck. And I think, I was part of the club that was like, oh, Jake Fromm can't make plays. Got to let's see him throw the ball. And yeah, I was right about that.
And he did against Oklahoma. Yep.
Yeah, but like I didn't put that to rest, right? I think the kid can make fucking plays, right? You know what's crazy though? You mentioned Kirby Smart, assistant coach. Now, I realized that Kirby was an assistant with Saban. I didn't realize that he was with them everywhere. Everywhere. Like everywhere he was, Kirby was there next to him, like Smithers. Kirby Smart was with the Miami fucking Dolphins, Babano?
Yeah. When Saban was coaching the Dolphins. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's fucking nuts. Like Kirby Smart has been with Saban everywhere he's been as a coach before. And, Saban hasn't won since he hasn't been with Kirby Smart. Now, the thing with Saban is he has so many former assistants out there, right? So he's played against them 11 times. He's 11-0 straight up against former assistant coaches, 9-2 against the spread. And it's interesting. I think the covers, too, that he didn't cover, and I know this off the top of my head, I know he didn't cover against Jim McElwain of when he was with Colorado State. Now, he beat him when he was in Florida, but I remember when Jim McElwain was Colorado State, he took the Colorado State job. He left Alabama. It was his first job before he got a Florida job. And they played each other by chance. Colorado State was playing Alabama the next year. McElwain and fucking Saban are buddies. And I fucking knew Babano. I was like, there's no way in hell Saban's running the score up. And he did it. Colorado State covered. And there was another assistant that he didn't run the score up against. But this is a different scenario. Yet Mark Lawrence raised a good point today. Just about, it's one thing to be an assistant. Like, look, Lane Kiffin's an assistant. Lane Kiffin and fucking Nick Saban didn't even know each other, Babano. Like, they weren't buddies. They didn't know each other. Like, Lane Kiffin was as shocked as anyone when Nick Saban wanted to hire him. Because he goes, I don't even know you. Like, really? You're going to give me the keys here, really? And he goes, well, I think you're a good coordinator. So Saban will take chances on guys, but Kirby Smart really does know Nick Saban's tendencies. Like, for real. If anyone really does know what Saban wants to do, it is Kirby Smart.
You know, it's true. I mean, Kirby's been there a long time. The only difference between Kirby Smart and Nick Saban, the main difference between them is it doesn't appear, at least, that Kirby Smart's the fucking shit of a human being that Nick Saban can be sometimes in terms of how he comes across to people. But, Nick Saban to me, he's done a good job. We know with this Alabama.
Nick Saban's a better guy than Belichick is, though.
Yeah.
Saban's not the big prick that people make him out to be. He's a little grumpy and shit, but he's actually funny, and he's not a dick to his players. Like, Belichick's actually an asshole. I don't think Saban's an asshole, really.
Well, you see Belichick, too, the other day when they're asking him about, when they signed James Harrison, saying, do you think he's going to be able to give you insight on Pittsburgh? And he basically just dismisses the guy. What the hell kind of question? And just, this pickle puss Belichick, same old thing you get from him in the press conference all the time.
Brady's the same way with that sour. What, me? I don't even know what that question means. Like, exactly.
Yeah, that was Belichick there. So that's what you usually get from him. But getting back to this game again, I don't want to totally. I know it's tough for me because after seeing Alabama play well, it's like you just lost betting against this team. You really want to try and go to the window against them one more time. But I don't know. This Georgia team's been a special team all year. They rebounded from the one loss they had against Auburn. They pummeled Auburn in the SEC championship game. They roared back from a tough early start against Oklahoma where their defense needed to make some. I give Kirby Smart credit, Morency. At the halftime interview, he says our coaching staff and me sucked. We weren't ready. We didn't prepare this team properly. He came out and flat out called him out himself and the entire Georgia coaching staff, Kirby Smart, on national TV in that interview he did with Maria Taylor. And then what did we see in the second half? He made those adjustments. That defense for Georgia was a lot better against Baker Mayfield and that Oklahoma offense. And that's why that comeback win, it's sort of just going to go into lore if Georgia beats Alabama and wins it all. Here's Kirby Smart lambasting himself and his coaching staff at halftime against Oklahoma for doing a piss-poor job getting them ready for that Oklahoma offense. What happens? They shut down Oklahoma's offense pretty much for most of the second half. They come back and win the game. Talk about a little folklore and a little legend, stuff of legend for Georgia if they can finish the deal and beat Alabama here on Monday night.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think they're going to be able to, ultimately. I think Georgia.
It's a great story, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's interesting. Like, a lot of people are sour hole all SEC. I don't look at it like that. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. You got two SEC, you got a powerhouse, you got a fucking former powerhouse. It's in Atlanta. It's a pretty cool. It's like fucking Duke playing, and not North Carolina, but it's one of these rivalry cool things. Georgia and Alabama have only played each other 4 times since 2007, which is kind of strange. So it's not like they play each other all the time either in conference play, which makes it unique as well. I think Georgia's going to play well, Babano. I don't think Alabama's going to blow them out. I don't think Alabama can blow anybody out, to be honest. Clemson were in that game, dude. It was just like that Washington Husky game last year. Alabama's offense is pedestrian. It just is. But they're physical players. They can sort of break your will. They wear you out as the game goes on. They're deep, and they're just bigger than you. Like, Saban recruits big kids. So they wear you out. But Georgia are pretty fucking physical too. They're not really going to get pushed around by Alabama. I just think Jalen Hurts and they're, like you said, their determination, they've got a chip on their shoulder. They're so fucking close. But I think it'll be a close game. I think Alabama survives, but Georgia doesn't punk out or anything. It'll be a good game. I think it's going to be higher scoring than people think, Babano. Everyone's talking like this game's going to be 13-3 or something like that. I don't think so. There's too much speed on the field, man. There's just too many fast guys. Alabama scores 24 points at least against anybody. They're going to get into the mid-20s, high 20s, and Georgia's going to be hard to stop, fully. I think the total's too low at 45 right now, and I hope it keeps coming down, actually, because I'll bet the over.
That's going to be the big question. Where's the plays to be made for Georgia? Can Jake Fromm make them down the field throwing the football if the Nick Chubb, Sony Michel running back tandem is neutralized by this Alabama team? That's the big question. He was able to do it against Oklahoma. Can he do it here against Alabama? I'm a big fan, by the way, going back to what Kirby Smart did at halftime of the Oklahoma game. Coaches that do that, they don't throw their players under the bus for a bad first half like that. They take onus on themselves, whether they believe it or not. The fact they say it and they put the blame on themselves, I like that. And that's Kirby Smart did that. And look at the turnaround we saw from Georgia in the second half of that game.
I know, but him doing that, it's not going to have any impact on this game.
No, it won't. But it's just one of those things that if they beat Alabama, you're going to look back at that moment and say, wow, it's something that stands out. But I don't think Georgia's going to be completely forlorn against this Alabama team. I really don't. I think they're going to be in it. I'm leaning toward that side. I really do want to take them. It's the side I'm betting if I do. I'm, again, gun shy after the Clemson game. But I will say this, too, about Alabama's off. I want to go back to that Clemson game for 1 second here. Let's think back, early third quarter. Clemson gets the fumble, gets the field goal, 10-6. Forces a 3-and-out, gets the ball back. Clemson's moving down that football field. Dave Malinsky in his point-blank column says the play's the thing with a lot of his columns. The one play in a game that can completely change it. It was that sack fumble on Kelly Bryant in that game. Alabama recovers, goes down the field, scores a touchdown, turns it into a 17-6. I like to go back, rewind that game, and play it again, to a point where Clemson hangs on to that ball down 10-6, continues to move the ball, maybe punches it in and goes up 13-10. Maybe we're talking about a totally different script, a totally different ending if they don't fumble there in that situation. It's little things like that in a game you have to keep in mind. Alabama was in a dogfight at that time. That fumble, and then, of course, the pick six after that completely changed the game. Those one or two little plays were the difference.
Yeah, Alabama just finds a way of being the team that makes that one or two plays. That's their deal. They just have kids that are on a mission. Listen, Georgia are motherfucking good. But as far as Saban, I know, Kyle Turley, was a regular on the program, and I hope he's good right now. We'd love to get him back. I haven't spoke to him in a couple of months. But Kyle Turley played for Nick Saban. He was on the Dolphins. And I said, so is he a big, what's he like? Is he as big of an asshole as the reputation? And he goes, no, he's kind of like you think he'd be. He's like, no, he's not really like a raging dick. He goes, but he doesn't, he's not the friendliest guy. There was the funny story about he didn't know anyone's name, right, on the Dolphins. So he used to just call everyone by their numbers. And pro guys don't like that. Fuck. You can get away with that in college. Hey, 54. But you can get away with that shit, but you can't do it. So there's the famous thing there with Saban when Chris Chambers made a play on the sidelines. Chris Chambers, the wide receiver out of Wisconsin, makes a catch. It's a great catch, and it's right in front of him. And so Saban's right there, and Saban looks down to him, and he says, he goes, great catch, Paul, great catch. And one of the assistants goes, his name's Chris, coach. Saban's sort of so basically Saban did not know his best wide receiver's name, okay? And so I guess the Miami Dolphins cut Kyle Turley. So Nick Saban cut him. And I guess Nick Saban told Turley, he goes, I don't really care about what people said about you. And he goes, I like you. And he goes, I like your style. And, he goes, I got a place for you on this team. And I guess about 3 days later, Nick Saban calls him in and he goes, I got to let you go. and Turley's like, a couple of days ago, you said there that because Turley was trying to be a tight end too. And Saban's like, Turley's like, Coach, a couple of days ago, you told me we were good. There was no problems. And Saban just basically told him point blank. He's like, listen, the owner doesn't want you here. Turley didn't hate Saban. He goes, you know what? Saban never really lied to me or anything. He's kind of gruff. And
was Wayne
he acts like he's a college child, but he's not a liar. Said that. And don't forget, Kyle Turley actually threatened to kill Mike Martz, right?
Right.
And basically nearly got blackballed by the NFL for
I wanted to kill him sometimes watching him coach.
Martz is a big jerk, right? Martz used to blame the players for everything. So Turley nearly strangled him once. He said Turley threatened to kill him. But Turley really didn't threaten to kill him. I guess Turley said he was going to strangle him or something. But Nick Saban story. I used to do the World Global Junior Championships, and Goodell fucking killed it. But it used to be the state of wherever the Super Bowl was against all-stars from Canada and Mexico and all over the world, Japan and Germany and shit. Every Super Bowl, and I was at 3-4 of them. Mick Austin used to go to them too. I used to do play-by-play for Canada. I did it a couple of times on the radio in Montreal and stuff. So it was in New Orleans. I wasn't there for this, but it was in New Orleans. I was at the year after in Houston. So it was in New Orleans, of all people. He's coaching LSU. Nick Saban, Babano, is he's the guest of honor. You know what I mean? So Nick Saban's the guy that came to the tournament. Every tournament they'd be NFL Hall of Famers and college coaches. It was crazy. I used to get great guests on the show because of it. So Nick Saban goes, and Nick Saban's speaking at the dinner, and it's a big banquet, and everyone that's there, there's all every country's there, and all the players are there. And Nick Saban's like, I've been watching this tournament go on this week, and he goes, I got to tell you, there's some real good football. And he goes, Team Germany. And he's like, Team Germany. He goes, these guys, they work hard in practice. They don't fuck around. And he goes, they're very efficient, you would expect from Germans. And he goes, they run the ball effectively. And he's like, good job, coach. So, the Germans are sort of he's like, he gets to the Mexicans. And he's like, you guys usually play soccer. Everyone starts laughing. He's like, you guys are fucking fast, man. And so he starts going on, and the Mexicans start clapping and shit afterwards. Everyone's like, Saban's not so bad. So he goes down the list. He gets to Canada, and Saban's like, as you expect, Team Canada, these guys are tough. He's like, look at them. And he cracks a couple of Canadian jokes type shit. Everyone's like, ha ha, laughing and shit. He gets to Japan, and Nick Saban, he goes, I was watching Japan, and he goes, as expected, he goes, you got to watch out for the trick play with Japan. He goes, they're very creative. And he goes, we all remember Pearl Harbor.
Oh.
The place just goes silent type shit. Japan, the Japanese program basically storm out of the room and shit. Nick Saban it was all great.
Great timing, Nick. Great timing.
Nick Saban was knocking it out of the park, but he saved the best for last for his Japan Pearl Harbor, Hiroshima jokes, and it didn't go over well. And he goes, when you play Japan, you got to watch out for the trick plays. Remember Pearl Harbor. And he goes, you never know. He goes, they'll drop a long bomb on you. And he starts dropping these fucking references and shit. And, Japanese are honorable people. So they don't like this.
What's he thinking? Oh, you guys dropped a bomb. I'm going to drop a bomb of my own on you.
The players don't understand. They're all Japanese teenagers. They don't understand.
No.
But the fucking coaches do and the administrators do. So everyone's oh God, coach. So my buddy Earl de La Prel's tells me there's a guy from LSU there that's sort of looking at Saban coach, wrap up the speech here. And Saban was like, no, I didn't mean it in any bad way. He's like, I just mean that you're creative and you could surprise. And Saban kept digging a hole worse. Earl told me it was the funniest thing ever, but the most horrific thing ever.
Wow. I mean, unbelievable. Dropping his own bomb in that during that speech on the Japanese.
After Nick Saban was very apologetic. He was like, "Listen, I didn't, it was a bad joke."
Of course.
Like,
he pretty much has
he went
to
up to the Japanese guys.
Yeah,
like Saban wasn't like, "Wow, fuck them, I'm Nick Saban." No, like Saban went up to them and said, "Hey, listen, I was just sort of kidding around and shit,
That's hysterical.
Exactly.
Hey, he was cruising.
How many Japanese players? That's it. He's like, I ain't recruiting any one of these guys. I don't give a shit. That's why he's all nice to the Germans. Fuck, I might take one of their kickers. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. He was cruising through Germany, through Canada, Mexico. He was saying some funny things without being derogatory. Then he hits Japan and shit hits the wall. Shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And the bomb goes off again.
That's what did Lou Holtz in. Lou Holtz was like on ESPN, and he was all right. I actually didn't mind Holtz when they would do the thing at the half. Coach, what would you tell the team at the half? I thought it was a good bit, and Lou Holtz. Oh, gee shucks, he had his little jokes and shit. But I like Lou. And problem is Donald Trump. Fuck. So when Donald Trump was running, fucking Lou went to one of the rallies, of course. And I guess Lou had a few too many drinks, fuck. And Lou basically got on the stage and basically stated, how many of you are tired of flicking around the TV and getting that other football, that soccer stuff that they play in Mexico? He's like, I want real football on TV. This is America. And he basically went off the deep end, fuck. Yeah. About, how America needs to get back to, the way it was and all this shit. And it didn't go over very well. And that's when Lou Holtz got booted from ESPN.
Yeah, I don't bust out the pom-poms for soccer, and I don't pretend to, but you can't say that. No way if you're Lou.
Yeah, no, it was more offensive than just like, I don't like soccer. Country, we don't play, we weren't forced to watch soccer and speak other languages.
Yeah.
Let me get his quote here. It was pretty bad. Like, Lou Holtz, I'll just say Lou Holtz gets racist. Let's see what comes up.
Hey, look who's on my screen right now. It's Sean McDermott, part of the Andy Reid coaching staff back with the Eagles back in those days. Good stuff.
Oh, here it is. It comes up. Lou Holtz goes, I am not a racist. Less than a week after El Paso, Texas high school named Lou Holtz as a speaker for its 90th anniversary, they revoked the offer. Holtz, you may remember, shared some of his thoughts on immigration at a Republican National Convention event. Namely, that it was an invasion. They followed it with, I don't want to speak your language. I don't want to celebrate your holidays. And I sure as hell don't want to cheer for your soccer team.
They're really going to want to immigrate after hearing that shit. Yeah.
High school in New Mexico, unfucking named, or Texas, unnamed the school after Holtz. And Holtz was relieved of his duties at ESPN. That kind of flew under the radar. He was old and shit like that. They just sort of didn't renew him. They got rid of Mark May at the same time, but I think they brought Mark May back, didn't they? Or is Mark May on another network now? I don't know, but
I don't think Mark May's with them.
Holtz isn't on TV anymore. Basically,
I haven't seen Mark May at all this year on ESPN. He's as good as gone, I think, as well. For what reason, I'm not sure, but I know that is the reason for Lou. I mean, it's got nothing to do with retirement, or he was getting senile, or he was getting forgetful, or people didn't like him anymore. That's what it was. It was those comments. I remember that, hearing that.
Yeah, no, exactly. It wasn't Lou's work on TV. It was that, no, he just went off. Like, they were sensitive to that shit at the time, too. No, Jimmy the Greek got screwed over. Jimmy the Greek got screwed over. That was different. Jimmy the Greek was sitting at a fucking table with Jesse Jackson, man.
I'm with Brian Dempsey in the chat. Mark May is not. I'm not a big Mark May fan. I agree with Brian in the chat. Mark May is pretty bland, pretty blah. So I don't miss him.
Jimmy the Greek was not racist. Jimmy the Greek, listen. What are you asking a fucking Greek fucking bookmaker about, like, African-American athletes for? But he was sitting there with Jesse Jackson and shit. And, they just didn't like it. Yeah, the Jimmy the Greek shit was, they wanted to get rid of him anyways, and it was sort of a good reason. like the NAACP and Jesse Jackson and everything, they all stood up for Jimmy the Greek. Like Jimmy the Greek didn't get bum rushed out of town. Like it was basically the network. It was like, oh, you know, that's just too much. And you know, but it, you know, like I said, Jesse Jackson was at the damn table with him and was like, yes, Jimmy is correct. But Jimmy wasn't the right guy to be talking about this shit, right? But Jimmy the Greek wasn't a raving racist. And it's too bad his name got attached, you know, that he went down like that. But it was more CBS just trying to fucking really just fuck him over at the end of the line, basically. And I think the same thing is happening right now with Rich Rodriguez in Arizona, Babano, with all this shit going on. Rich Rodriguez had an affair, like all these college coaches do. Now, how it got leaked, obviously the university did this to make him look bad. But now the allegations of him groping everybody on the campus all the time, it was no secret, Babano, that they wanted to get rid of Rich Rodriguez. But
they're looking for a reason, 100%. They had a bad bowl loss to Purdue.
Khalil Tate. He developed Khalil Tate. Listen, Khalil Tate's good on his own, but his team didn't suck, Babano, like everyone thought. You know what I mean? Yeah, he lost to Purdue. Purdue's a good team. You know, Brom's a decent coach. Like, he didn't, and like he said, and I believe him, when he said, listen, I had an affair. I'm embarrassed by this, but it's a little over the top, all this groping shit. And I think it's Arizona just saying, you know what? This is our way so we don't have to pay his buyout. You know, we're just going to accuse him of being a pervert. It's in vogue right now. He'll fucking won't like the publicity since he's married. But he's fighting back. And I found it interesting today, Babano. Matt Scott, the former quarterback last year, the quarterback of Arizona, he fucking tweets out today, guys. He goes, so let me get this straight. You're going to fire our coach, Rich Rodriguez, for false accusations, but the basketball coach, Sean Miller, doesn't get fired for paying players in caps. It's like Arizona's programs are turning on each other. Like the football team's quarterback from last year's tweeting out, how come you don't fire the basketball coach for paying players and you fire our football coach for something that's not fucking true? And it is, in a sense, you can't fire the guy for having an affair, for fuck's sakes. So what about the dean? How many people on the board of directors of Arizona have had an affair? And look at the girls in Arizona. Who can blame them? So yeah. I'm just kidding. But I just think the same thing, Babano. When I see this smear campaign and I see that it was leaked that he had an affair and all this other stuff, who the fuck leaked that he had an affair? Who did that? Arizona did this, obviously.
Some people have ADs, whatever. Yep.
Now we have the sexual allegations against him. Now it's a great reason to say, fuck you. We're not giving you the $14 million we're supposed to pay you.
Okay, first of all, Arizona was clearly looking to get rid of Rich Rod. Some way, somehow, this was a convenient reason and excuse to do it, to throw him overboard into the ditch. They've obviously been able to accomplish that. Second of all, when you talk about Matt Scott and what he tweeted about Rich Rod here in this situation, there's one reason too. Football is irrelevant in Arizona with this school compared to basketball. Basketball is where it's at. Basketball is where they're getting the best recruits. Basketball is where they're winning year after year. They're in NCAA tournaments. They're going to Elite Eight.
Yeah, that's real. That's what makes the money. Yeah.
And brings in the mucho dinero. Exactly right. It's basketball that's doing it for the Arizona Wildcats. It's not football. It's an afterthought compared to the hoop scene. So that's part of it too. I mean, let's defend Sean Miller for what he's doing, and let's stick up for him. Let's make sure he keeps his job. Let's make sure he keeps rolling along.
Under the bus, right?
Yeah.
And the assistant, is like poor Chuck Person, fucking Auburn. You know, he might go to jail and shit. It's like, oh yeah, I know. Bruce Pearl had no idea what was going on, right? I know. Sean Miller has no. Remember Rick Pitino? Oh, I had no idea that my assistant coach paid a player $100,000. Yeah, so the assistant coach who makes about $200K a year decided to take the money out of his own pocket, coach, right? Like come on, man.
It's the same old shit, Gabe. It's the same old shit. With this athletic administrations across the board, you could do the most heinous, ridiculous things, and you could be vilified for them because you're winning. You're bringing in money for the program, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's the same thing. Yep. It's the same thing with the North Carolina Tar Heels. You notice the North Carolina Tar Heel football program, they're always getting hit with violations. That's why Butch Davis left. It was too much. He's like, I'm sick of this shit. Fuck. And you know what it is, Babano? Every time the basketball team does something, the NCAA takes it out on the football team.
Right.
It's like, oh, the basketball team's not going taking their test or going to school. Oh, let's fucking hit the football team with sanctions so people don't say we take it easy on North Carolina.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you guys are fucking tagging North Carolina football with recruiting violations for crossing the street when the light's still orange. Yet it's admitted the professor at North Carolina, the damn woman professor who the kids on the basketball team were in her class, said they didn't even take their own tests. And then what do? They fired the professor.
Yeah.
They fired the woman professor. And what happened to the basketball program about it?
Basketball student. What if that's a basketball student? Exactly, going through the same thing. And that goes back to the same damn point. North Carolina football is an afterthought. It's a drop in the bucket financially for North Carolina football compared to basketball. Let's be honest. Let's call it for what it is.
Let's fuck over the football team. We'll hit them with violations. Like, they're so Alex Smith, it's a good point. Why the fuck did Lou Holtz have a fucking school name after him in El Paso anyways? But that's besides the point.
Yeah. Yeah. My buddy Alex B. Smith, he's a great guy, Gabe. New Year's resolution from you right now. Get Alex B. Smith one day on the show here late night.
I know, we were going to get him on, but it was the holidays. He couldn't come on. We'll get him on for sure. I think Mark May was brought back. I really do. I really do think he was brought back.
If he's been brought back, he's the invisible man because I haven't fucking seen the guy anywhere on an ESPN college
on Fox F1, FS1 or something. Yeah. All right, so it's 53-45 right now. Nevada's starting to pull away a little bit, but the total's suddenly looking good right now. I saw somebody saying that Hayden Dalton was struggling a little bit. That's not good because when he only scores 13 points, they lose. All right, Babano, so you're hosting the show with Alex and with McKinnis in the morning here.
Yep.
And Dana Lane, too. So have you taken a look, before we get you out of here quickly, have you taken a look at the overnight NHL board? I assume you have since you're doing some work on in the morning. Holy fuck, I see there's a lot of games in NHL tomorrow, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting card. I've already looked at some things circled. I know when it comes to the New York Islanders, when I see their games from a totals perspective, I'm looking over the total right away. This team continues to be just dreadful on the defensive end of the ice. It was like that against Boston, a 5-1 loss the other night. They've been an over machine, Gabe, the New York Islanders. They can score goals, but their defensive play, even after Doug Waite tears into them, John Tavares says we need to be better at that end of the ice, and it still wasn't any better against Boston. So I'd look over the total with the Flyers-Islanders game. That one makes some sense to me. And the Islanders have got issues right now, too, so maybe the Philly side makes some sense in this game. I was hoping to fade Montreal again because this team has scored 1 goal in 5 straight games. Tampa's laying about -175 on the road in Montreal. It's a steep price, but I can only back the Lightning. I still might lay it in a smaller type of play because Montreal's a complete gong show right now. There's no offense. Max Pacioretty has been a complete disaster and no show right now for this hockey team. He's not doing anything offensively. All the big guns are shooting blanks. 1 goal held to Montreal in 5 straight games, lost every game. 4-1 loss to San Jose the other night. They're just a bet against team right now, and I think they're in big time trouble against Tampa Bay. And Vasilevsky's been a beast in net for the Lightning. So good luck trying to find the back of the net tomorrow if you're Montreal.
Yeah, I'm going to take I just scroll through every night in the NHL, one play, look for Vegas. There they are. Vegas Golden Knights, baby. +100 tomorrow night. I'd like to get a little bit more, but the odds makers are onto it right now.
I'll be on them. I'll be on Vegas +100. I don't trust St. Louis. Yeah,
not just they win at home, they win on the road too. I mean, it's not a guarantee they're going to win, but if they lose, they'll just get back on a winning streak anyways. Like they're a dominant fucking hockey team. You got to ride the wave.
And St. Louis is very fortunate they won the last 2 games. They've been playing poor hockey for a couple of weeks since Jaden Schwartz went down to injury. They have won 2 straight, but it was a very unimpressive 3-2 win against Carolina. They were lucky as shit the other night to beat New Jersey. They were down 3-2 in the 3rd period. They got a late goal to tie it, and then they ended up winning 4-3 in a shootout, St. Louis to beat New Jersey at home. They're going to have their hands full with this 4 lines of speed, this defensive core for Vegas there's no Norris Trophy winners on that blue line. But boy, are they playing good as a group of 6 together. as one. They've been fantastic. And Fleury's been great in net. What has Fleury posted? Back-to-back shutouts, I believe, going into this game for Vegas in net. Yeah, sure. I'm riding Golden Knights. They can win on the road. They've beaten Dallas on the road, Anaheim on the road, Nashville on the road. They beat LA on the road last week. They're starting to win on the road, too, this team. I think they can get another road win here.
You got to ride the wave. Fleury's 8-1-1 right now in the season now. And you got to ride the wave. I mean, they haven't lost in regulation combined. Doesn't matter on the road or at home or anywhere, guys. They haven't lost in regulation since December the 1st. I mean, it's quite a run. I apologize. Second half just started. I'm on the over in the game, and it's on right now. The in-game number is 214.5, which in the game closed at 214. It should get there. Oklahoma City, listen, guys, there's 10 minutes left right now in the third quarter. The Oklahoma City Thunder already at 71 points. I mean, yeah, the Lakers, something's got to give here. Luke Walton's not the guy. I mean, it's fucking free money. I wish I would have loaded up on this fucking game. But Bano, we'll get you out of here. Look forward to seeing you, buddy. We'll speak tomorrow. We'll tape the Friday TV show. And then I'll see you Friday in Vancouver.
That's awesome, Gabe. It's always good being with you on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to Vancouver. All those people I named, we're gonna get our drink on. We're gonna watch some football. We're gonna hopefully make some money. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna rip it up and kick it in Vancouver all weekend long. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll see you Friday, Gabe. I'm looking forward to it. Have a good night, everybody. Good luck.
Yeah, it's too bad. The Canucks aren't going to be there when we're there. But hey, what up, Steve Wilson? Thanks, Babano, for the time, buddy.
No problem, Gabe. Have a good night. We'll see you Friday.
There's Babano with us. Yeah, rocking the homicide. The yellow edition. That's the thing, Razor. You know what, though? Most places have, like, shitty promotions. Vegas is the best for everything. Like, most people have shitty promotions. You get a free tackle if the team gets 100 points. The Toronto promotions aren't bad. You get a free piece of pizza from Pizza Pizza. You know, with 8 strikeouts or fucking 100 points and all that shit. You know, all the different sports. But Vegas, not bad. I see they have the Krispy Kreme donuts with a shutout. Except you get a dozen donuts. Like, you know, a lot of cities would make you, oh, you get a free donut. Yeah, great. I'm going to go to your fucking store for a free donut because you know I'm going to get roped in and buy something else. Krispy Kreme in Las Vegas, they give away a dozen donuts. A dozen donuts. Every time Vegas gets a shutout. What are you guys panicking about Wyoming for? They're down by 9. We're getting 12. They're down by 9. They're on the free throw line right now. And the in-game total is 162.5. And the in-game total, the number is Nevada 10.5. So we've got 12 and we've got over 155. For the record right now, UNLV are leading at the half, 37-30. Second half number is -6.5. And like we talked about, man, who motherfucking knows the UNLV on the road? They're going to win the game, but you want to lay those points is the question. Vegas makes 12. I'll give you that, Larry Sedge. The money line you went for, huh? That's the thing. You know, they shoot. So you're telling me Dalton's got nothing? Anyways, I can't sit here on that. We'll take a quick break. I'll come back and close up shop. We got a plane to catch. I got to repack and shit. I got to do laundry and all that fucking like traveling type stuff. There better be some fucking weed dispensaries open tomorrow night in Vancouver when I get there still.
Adams, terrific effort. James is fouled and it counts. Was it touched?
They're going to wave the basket off. James is going to get 2 free throws. Let's see if we can see who touched it. Was it Wyoming? I don't know.
I don't think anybody touched it.
Now, if he yanks the net and that shakes the rim, that's offensive basket interference. I don't know that that's what they're looking at, though. Officials are at the table and at the monitor.
There's a better look at it. Keep an eye on Dalton and see if he touches the rim. Oh, it looks to me actually as if it...
But if he doesn't touch the net, then he doesn't touch the rim.
That's bullshit. He didn't touch anything.
Is it?
I don't think it is.
Should have been on one.
Rule changes we didn't discuss on the conference call a couple weeks back.
Maybe that was the call after the call. No, that looked clean. That may be a break for Nevada. Midnight on the East Coast, 9 o'clock here in the biggest little city in the world, in Reno. Nevada with the basketball and the lead in the Mountain West. 2 good teams. Nevada, very good team, and Wyoming a surprisingly good team. And corner 3 from Iowa State transfer Hollis Cook.
That zone got way too extended on that bottom wing, allowing the open look by Hollis Cook. It's funny because everybody wants to play this Syracuse-type extended zone, but not every team has the personnel to do it.
Wyoming's doing a nice job of getting to the line. Here's a look at that extended zone.
So we're taking a look at Hayden Dalton right here. He needs to be more in this area in that zone. He can't get back out to the shooter, Hollis Cook, in time.
And as we've established a few times, Nevada's a very good three-point shooting team. 42% leads the Mountain West and is 10th in the country. A lot of NBA principles in his offense and in his defense. Even the way he ran practice today with the big video projector next to the court, along with all the opponent's plays drawn up on big paper signs.
It was great because, I mean, he's taking some of the details that most coaches don't think about. And players and people learn in different ways. Some people learn by reading, some are visual, some are by walking through, and he makes sure they cover all aspects in shoot-arounds.
Caroline misses on that turnaround jumper and the rebound to Herndon. He's got 8 rebounds in the game. James again getting Kelly skips it across. Rising is Adams. Just for 3. Cody Martin. Caroline blocks. Herndon has another block. That's 5 in the ball game. It bounced out of bounds before it hit Caroline. It stays with Nevada.
Herndon has been something else protecting the rim tonight. I believe that is his 4th block of the night. At some point, Nevada shoot a little floater.
Stevens open for an instant, and that's all he needs.
He's got a quick release, but one of the reasons is his footwork. The second he catches it, he's ready to let it go.
All 5 starters in double figures for Nevada. It's the second time it's happened this year. Hayden Dalton has yet to get going. He's trying. Doubled. Kelly, 3. Missed it. Cody Kelly, 1 of 6 from the field. 0 of 4 from 3-point. And Nevada's lead is up to 11.
Yeah, they just can't hit a fucking shot.
Foster with a screen. Cody Martin with a jumper. Ooh, someone just got thrown to the floor. That was Foster. Like he ragdolled Lewis Adams to the ground.
Take a look right there. This is
Holy fuck. How's that not a flagrant?
Even though there was contact, Foster was kind of backing away. Wyoming trying to stay in this game from the free throw line.
In-game totals up to 165.5 right now in this game.
within 11 like they are, the fact that they haven't shot the ball very well.
Looks like UNLV is going to pull away. My money's all tied up right now, but I would jump on UNLV here. I think UNLV will pull away. They're up by 11 right now. They're going to the free throw line. San Jose State are terrible. UNLV aren't good on the road, but they're playing a really crap-ass team here in an empty gym.
For Nevada. Foster screen. Remember, Caleb Martin's on the bench with 4 fouls. It's 19 points per game on the bench for Nevada. Caroline feeling it, spinning against Dalton.
Can Dalton make a fucking basket or what, man?
Waits for the screen. Whips a pass to Caroline with a catch and a foul on Dalton.
That's fucking bullshit.
That's going to be number 4 on Hayden Dalton.
The struggle of a game.
That's fucking bullshit. You watching this shit? Kyle L., you watching this shit? Look at the kid. The kid on Nevada elbows Dalton. How is that Dalton's foul?
The second one, a little battle for the rebound. Got to let that one go, in my opinion. But
I don't know that Allen Edwards has a choice here with Dalton. I think he's got to leave him in the ball game. I know there's 9 minutes left. Let's see if he does bring someone off the bench. If he does, I don't see Dalton being out that much longer.
Still within striking distance. Dalton, your leading scorer, as we just mentioned, has struggled this evening, but he's got the ability to get it going and get it going in a hurry. I mean, when you put up 36 and 15 against San Diego State, you're bound to get it going at some point tonight.
Hunter Maldonado is into the ball game. Herndon with that rebound. And there's Adams with a left hand down the lane in the finish. And Wyoming just won't go away here tonight.
Coach Musman can't be happy.
All right, good. Let's go, Wyoming.
First thing.
Hang around here. All right, guys. See, I'd hang around with you later here too, but I've got to get a plane tomorrow afternoon. I got to tape a bunch of shows early in the morning and all that other stuff. We appreciate everybody tuning in here this evening. We'll be on the radio tomorrow at noon, Fantasy Sports Radio Network, fantasysportsnetwork.com/radio. All that other stuff. Man, this game's just sailing over. Fuck, Nevada's just going for an N1 right now. Nevada's cheerleaders are pretty hot. Reno, littlest big city in the world. I like the sound of it. Tomorrow night, Big Man on Campus will be with you tomorrow night right here. Graciously stepping up and in tomorrow evening. Big Man would be on 24 hours a day, I think, if he could. He's the only guy who wants to be on more than me. So yeah, Big Man on Campus will be with you tomorrow night. I'm going to be on a plane, so it's not like I physically can't do it. I would. I'm kind of pissed, actually, that they don't have Wi-Fi on planes yet. They say they do, but they really don't. Maybe they do on fucking Air Dubai or something like that in first class, but it'd be cool. I'd doing the show from my seat. I'd probably fucking cause an incident on the plane, though. There'd be complaints. Sir, you got to keep it down. See, I'm going to be on a plane tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. But we'll be with you on Friday live for our 16th anniversary show, live from the Red Card in Vancouver, British Columbia. We'll be on regularly scheduled time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. We've normally started these shows in Vancouver later, so you've been warned if you're in BC right now, like Van Fob, guys like that. You know, we used to start at 9 and 10 and fuck the East Coast type shit, but we're staying on track. We're going to start the show at 10. We'll probably go about 3 hours, maybe longer. We'll see how it goes. And then we'll go out to Vancouver after. Bars closed at 2 o'clock in Vancouver. So, like I said, normally I always used to end the show like 1 in the morning Vancouver time. Would be fucked. Everything would be closing. And not this time. We're going to start 10 o'clock. Nice normal time for everyone at home watching normally. So you get your normal show. We'll go to like 1 in the morning or so, East Coast time. It'll only be 10 o'clock on the West Coast. We can hit the town of Vancouver and talk about all the money we're going to make betting on the Atlanta Falcons, the Buffalo Bills, and the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, thank you, Gino. My mom should be coming to the show, actually, on Friday night. Last year, she was in the hospital with cancer. This year, she's healthier. And no one's 100% healthy, but she should be able to be coming to the show. I know she's planning on coming, so we'll bring my mother on the show. 16th anniversary show. Look forward to it. So as I stated, Big Man on Campus, Jabron will be here tomorrow night. Big Man on Campus will be here at 10 o'clock. And we'll see you guys Friday night at 10 o'clock. I'll be around my usual shows tomorrow and Friday and stuff. Everything will be taped and whatever. But we'll see you guys Friday night live from British Columbia. The Friday Night Freak Show. Mick Aussie, Babano, Chris Edge, Kyle Hamburg, Cody Veeds, Van Fob. It's going to be nuts. Yeah, tomorrow night, Big Man on Campus, Jabron, at 10 o'clock. I'll be on a plane. And then we'll be good Friday. I'll see you online, though. I'm looking forward to the NFL. College football Monday night. We'll be live with you doing the game Monday night. If you can, give us a thumbs up on the way out. Support SBR. Go over to their websites. Bet on their sports books. Yeah, you got to keep this operation running, man. SBR, their lights, their electricity isn't free, right? So, support the sports books over at SBR. Click the links. Give SBR the credit for it. Get your sign-up bonuses and all that and make some money. Beat the books this weekend. We'll see you guys on Friday. Other than that, you're on your own. Big Man on Campus. I appreciate him stepping up and in tomorrow night. Thanks to Babano for joining us. Other than that, you're on your own. May the winners be yours. Later, guys. Go Wyoming. Let's cover this shit. Fuck. Later.